Hey y'all, it's Asia here with the Fluffy Hustle. So I've been going back and forth about what the next video should be in my series, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Alibaba.com because Alibaba is a great place to find vendors, but it's a place that a lot of times I tell beginners to shy away from because there are certain things that you need to pay attention to when you are on Alibaba because unfortunately, like our world is, there's definitely bad mixed in with the good, and it's very easy to get got on Alibaba by bogus vendors. Okay, so I wanted to do this video because even though I have tons of vendors list, there are probably some vendors or some products that I don't have in my vendors list that you might be interested in. So if you are interested in vendors lists that are already done, because I've done a lot of the work for you guys by going through and finding good quality vendors, testing them, making sure that they have a good reputation, talking with other boutique owners to see if they've used these vendors before and vetting them. But in the event that there's something that I don't have for you or you can't find with anybody else, you can go through the process of going ahead and finding your own vendor on Alibaba. So that's what we're going to be doing today. How you can find legit vendors from Alibaba. Okay, so what I want to do is you can go by market. I like to go to categories because it helps you get specifically down to what you want to find right away versus clicking on the other section here. So click on categories and let's just go into beauty and personal care area. And so let me do, let's see, let's just do makeup because that's not a vendor list that I have. So I can show you guys how to find the makeup vendors. Okay, so let's first talk about, once you've selected a category, let's talk about filtering. Filtering is going to help make finding quality vendors like way easier for you because the filtering does a lot. So the first thing I filter by is trade assurance. So before we filter by trade assurance, I'm going to click on it and we're going to go to the trade assurance page. If it takes us there, let's learn more about trade assurance. Okay. I clicked on learn more, you guys. Hold on. Because we definitely want to learn more about trade assurance. It's not taking us to the trade assurance page. Well, let's not worry about it, but I'm going to explain to you what trade assurance is. Pretty much what trade assurance is, it protects you um, from getting scammed, basically. Okay, so trade assurance will basically, Alibaba will ensure that when you send the money over to the vendor, that the vendor gets the money, they they see the transaction and everything, because you're basically going to pay for the product on Alibaba. And as long as you do everything on Alibaba, if within 30 days after receiving the delivery you're not happy with the product, you can be issued a refund. They will mediate, they will negotiate to make sure that you're happy with your purchase at the end of the day. But here are some things, there's some caveats, and I just posted this on my Instagram page because I wanted people to know this. With trade assurance, the only way that Alibaba will basically take your word into consideration or anything is if you communicate with these sellers on Alibaba. So Alibaba has their own messenger services here. They have their own messenger. They have kind of like contact forms and things like that that you can use to communicate with the sellers. But what you will find is that a lot of these sellers, vendors, whatever you want to call them on here, they have other means of communication, whether it be Skype, WhatsApp, their email address, their telephone number. They want to chat with you and communicate with you via other means. Here's the problem with that. When you communicate, like when Alibaba sees in the chat history that they provide you with other means of contact information, and you go off of Alibaba and you start communicating with them, they're not going to consider your WhatsApp conversations. They won't consider anything off of their platform. So it's important, especially when working with vendors you've never worked with before, that you keep all of your communication on Alibaba, that you are 100% clear in your communication and about what your expectations are, that you reiterate, that you recap, and that they confirm with you everything that you expect before you place your order and give them money. So only communicate with these sellers on Alibaba. Do not go off platform to communicate with them. I don't care what they say. And if one of these sellers tries to pressure you to go off of platform, then walk away, because they know that Alibaba prefers for them to communicate on the platform. Okay, so that's another thing. The other thing, well, we'll get into this later, but that's the main thing about trade assurance. So the main way to make sure that you are covered is to make sure you keep your communication and everything on Alibaba and don't take it off of platform. And then the other thing is to make sure that you do not pay via Western Union or any kind of wire transfer. And I'll get into that as we open up one of these listings. But anyway, so what I've done is I've filtered by trade assurance. So now we're only going to see sellers who offer trade assurance. So we've eliminated some BS right there. The next thing I filter by is by past export country, and I select the United States. Why do I do this? Because one, I want to make sure that these sellers have experience with US buyers, because we have different expectations when it comes to how we conduct business, our quality standards, and also what products are popular here in the States may not be popular elsewhere. So I don't want to be inundated with a bunch of products that nobody in the US wants. And a lot of times the reason why we're coming on Alibaba is because we saw a product with maybe a bigger boutique or another store, and we're looking for that same product, whether it be packaging or it be the makeup or whatever it is. We're looking to find what somebody else is carrying, right? So if you think, okay, well, most people are going to come to Alibaba to source their products. Well, if you source by the United States, then 9 times out of 10, whoever it is that you were trying to find the product that they have, you're going to find it in this list, because they've already done business with the United States, right? So you want to filter by the US, because it's going to help you find those products that are hard to find, those popular products here in the United States. Now, the other thing, these things are up to you, but I know that a lot of people who I work with, a lot of my clients, they typically do not have a lot of money to be paying for a lot of inventory up front, right? They're only wanting to buy, a few pieces, maybe, less than 10 pieces at a time. And so to eliminate seeing things like this, where they're showing you that their minimum order is 200 pieces, and now you're seeing all of these results that are not applicable to you, then you want to put in your minimum order. And I'm just going to put 10 for the sake of this example of this demonstration. So now what we have are suppliers who offer trade assurance, meaning that you have a way to get your money back, right? Now you're only seeing suppliers that have done business with the United States before, right? So the likelihood of you finding popular products, quality products that other people in the US have purchased has just gone up that much more. Then we know that we're only going to be seeing pieces where they allow a minimum order of 10, so I don't have to buy more than 10. And then if you have a price point, like I don't want to spend more than $5 per piece or whatever, you can further filter by that by saying the dollar amount. I'm not going to do that today. And then next is ready to ship. Okay? What ready to ship means is just that. That means that if you place the order with the seller, that product that they're displaying, they already have it produced, manufactured, and all they have to do is package it up and ship it out to you. You don't have to wait for them to actually manufacture the product. Okay? Because some of these places, they have the ability to make the product, but they don't have a lot in stock. So because they don't have a lot in stock, what will happen is you'll place the order, but they're going to need lead time, what's called lead time, to actually produce your product. Okay, so they'll need lead time to produce the product, and then you have to wait for it to be shipped. So sometimes, depending on what it is, they might have like a 2-week lead time, and then they have a 2 to 3 week in their shipping time. So you're looking at being over a month out to get your product. So if you want to get something right now that's in stock, you're not necessarily worried about getting anything custom done or anything. You just want the raw product. Then click on ready to ship. So I want to click on ready to ship just so you can see. Okay, so now we have ready to ship products and we're good to go. So now these are all like the ready to ship products and stuff like that. Now there's more things that I like to look at. When you go in the sort by default, it tells you best match. I don't like to look at best match. What I like to look at is transaction level. What the transaction level means is that how many transactions have they done in the last 6 months? Because that's what transaction level measures. So when you sort by transaction level, okay, it should give you the companies with the most transactions first at the top. Okay, so you want to sort by the transaction level. Who's done the most transactions in this field? Okay, so let's look at it a little bit more. So let's say I'm interested in, let me see. Let me go back up here. So I just did a general, it was just general beauty, but let's say I want to look at like lip makeups, like glosses or whatever. So that's what should be under here. Okay, so now we've got it even further down to lip makeup, and you see our results are now like to 3,700 versus well over 100,000 results we had before. So now we can start getting into the nitty gritty, and let's say, all right, so this particular seller offers lip glosses at $28 for one piece of lip gloss. That doesn't really make any sense to me. This lip gloss, these are matte glosses. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I want to find someone that's like a good candidate to give you a good example of what I would. Okay, so this is someone I would mess with right here. This lip gloss. So let's get into it. The reason why I'm saying that, what I looked at is this 95% is their response rate, meaning that this particular seller responded to 95% of people who inquired or contacted them within 24 hours. So that's a good turnaround time, especially given the fact that we're in completely different time zones. So they're on top of it, like they're responsive to their customers. So that's awesome. The next thing I saw was that their rating was really high. So the service was good, you know, the product quality was good. So a 4.9 out of 5 is really good. They have 55 reviews, and they've been on Alibaba for 5 years. Okay. They offer the trade assurance, but in addition to trade assurance, let me see. So they have their little badges and stuff like that. I'm gonna go to another one too. So this is a good supplier, and we'll look at them in a second. This one is another good supplier. So they have a good response rate like we saw before. Their rating is really good. They have a lot of reviews. For me, I would rather look at or deal with a supplier that has a lot of reviews and was able to maintain a 4.8 over, let's say, a supplier that only had like 5 reviews but had a perfect 5 score. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not enough reviews, in my opinion, to really gauge whether or not they do good business. It's just not enough, right? I want to see, if you supplying a bunch of people, I want to see what a lot of people are saying, right? Not just a few, not just a small handful. So I actually, and then the other thing with this particular seller, okay, this is a verified supplier. So what a verified supplier is on Alibaba is a company that voluntarily went to Alibaba and said, hey, we want to pay you to come and have a third party check out our facilities so that we could be a verified buyer. So Alibaba sends out a third party to go actually check out their warehouse, check out their equipment, take photos of their equipment, look at their certifications to make sure that they're A1. So when I see a company who has that, that's even better for me, because it's like, okay, that's great. You care. You want people to know that you're legitimate, and you voluntarily had paid money to have somebody come out and verify you, which is awesome. That gives you some level of assurance, right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to click on them first. Actually, let's click on the product itself. I know there are some terms that people might not be familiar with. Okay, because these are questions I get all the time, so you guys know how to read the pages and what all of these things mean and the pricing. So one of the things to look at is the price point you're going to pay. The more pieces you buy, the lower the price gets. So when you see on, for instance, here, it says it's $2 to $2.20 per piece. Well, let's look at this breakdown. When you buy more, so if you buy more than 200 pieces, that's when you get that $2 rate. If you buy anywhere between 100 and 199, that's when you get the $2.10 rate. But if you buying lower quantities, right, that's when you get the $2.20 rate. Okay? Now that might not seem like a lot, but when you start buying a lot of pieces, that 10 and 20 cents makes a difference in how much money you're spending and how much more product you could actually buy, right? So here we go. So now we know that. So that's how you read those ranges, and just know if you're ordering the minimum, then you're going to be paying the higher dollar amount in that price range. Okay? So if you order the minimum, then you're going to be paying the higher price range. Okay? So the next thing here is a lot of them will have different options you can choose from and add things into your cart. Not all of the sellers will have this option where you can just literally pick and choose which colors you want, add it into cart, and start your order. Not all of them are like that. Some will require that you actually, it won't say start order. It'll just say like contact supplier. Okay, so just know that that's not something that's available with all sellers, but the fact that they have this option lets me know that they're doing a lot of business. Speaking of how much business they do, let's look over here in this particular area. So what you're seeing here is what the number of transactions they did in the last 6 months. So in the last 6 months, they've done 637 transactions. They are busy, and they have pushed out more than 150,000 products. So the fact that this company has this high rating, they've done all of these transactions, they have a high response rate, they have a high on-time delivery rate, that means that in the last 180 days or 6 months, it's pretty much the same, that 97.7% of the time their product got to them quickly, got to their buyers quickly. That's amazing. Okay? That's amazing. They have a very low lead time on this product. So they need only 3 days after you pay and the payment is complete. They will ship your product out in 3 days, and the shipping time is 15 to 30 days. Okay? So that's amazing as well. Okay, so next let's look at customization, because a lot of these companies will offer customization, but you cannot do customization when you're buying 2 lip glosses. That's not how this works. Okay, you are going to have to purchase more, and so they tell you what their minimums are. So for you to get a customized logo with this particular vendor, okay, you would need to buy a minimum of 50 pieces, which is not bad considering the pieces are only $2.20. So you're going to be spending a little over like $110 to get 50 tubes of gloss. And the cool thing is, like, you could literally start an entire line here, like 50 pieces. You can like do 10 different colors with your logo on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. So you can get custom logos on your products for 50 pieces. Now, if you want custom packaging, on the other hand, you need to do 500 pieces or more. If you want customized graphic, so graphic customization, meaning they might do something different on the packaging, then they're saying 50 pieces. And if you have questions about what they're meaning by that, ask them. The other thing is it looks like they offer samples. So you can buy samples of the product, and this is something I suggest everybody does, is to pay for the sample. So what that means, you might not be able to start your company next week like you want to, but wouldn't you rather pay for the sample, wait for it to get to you, test the product out, test the quality, look at the packaging, make sure it's good before you spend money, before you risk your reputation and give people garbage, right? So buy the samples, okay? Buy the samples. They'll send you one piece, you can buy a sample. I would probably spend like $15 I would spend the money to actually just go ahead and buy the colors that I wanted, okay? But that's just me. So they have samples. Next, now this is the other thing that I was talking about when it comes to trade assurance, okay? Trade assurance only protects these types of purchases: Visa, MasterCard, online bank payment. That basically means the payment is coming directly from your banking account. TT, which is another form, and then paid later. Some people qualify for financing with Alibaba, and so you can choose that. But the Western Union and this other payment option are not covered by trade assurance. Only these first 5 that are listed are covered by trade assurance. So if you want to make sure that your order is protected, okay, make sure you only pay with these methods, okay? No wire transfers, okay? So that's how you read some of the stuff on the pages. It looks like what they say, they offer OEM, okay? And I believe OEM stands for like original engineered manufacturing. Basically what it means is they're able to add custom logos and things like that onto your packaging. If you see like they're basically able to add different packaging, stickers and logos and things like that onto an existing product for you. Okay, so they have a tube of this lip gloss that, you know, here it is here. These lip glosses have nothing on them. They don't have any names. They don't have anything on them. They don't have any stickers, no labels. They're able to fabricate and add those things onto the product. Now, another acronym you may see is called ODM, which stands for Original Design Manufacturer. When you see a company that says they offer ODM, that means they're able to fabricate your product from scratch. So let's say you were like, well, I want my lip gloss tube to be shaped like a woman's body, right? They would be able to fabricate the tubing. They would be able to fabricate the package according to your specifications. So when you find a company that does ODM, they're able to actually do the fabrication from scratch. Okay, so that's ODM. So yeah, and they say here they accept ODM and OEM. So if you in the future you're working with them, you're like, okay, I want to do something totally custom. I want to change the game. You know, I want to do something out of this world that nobody has ever seen. They would be able to fabricate it for you from scratch. Of course, they're going to have their minimums. When they have to fabricate something from scratch, your minimums are going to go up substantially. You're probably going to be having to, buy, 1,000 or more or something like that to get them to do something from scratch where they're having to fabricate the packaging and all of that for you. But at least you know that this is something that they offer. Okay. The other thing I like to look at, once I look at the actual product page, I like to go check out the actual vendor's main page, right? So you click on their name, and they are called Fundy Tech or Shenzhen Fundy Cosmetics Co. All right, so they have low minimum order quantities, which I know a lot of people like. They will do free logo design for you, which is awesome. They offer fast delivery. They're a 5-star manufacturer. We talked about the OEM and ODM stuff. They keep products on hand. And they say, we are the factory of your brands. Maybe that means they work with other major brands. I would, if they're doing that many transactions, I'm pretty sure a lot of big brands are coming to them for their manufacturing needs. So, and it looks like they do all different kinds of makeup. So I just gave y'all a free vendor that looks like they're really good. So one of the things I look at, guys, when I'm looking at a vendor and I come to their main page, I like to look at their product list, because I like to deal with vendors that are in a specific industry. Sometimes you'll come on here and you'll find a vendor that will sell shoes, makeup, tires, you know what I'm saying? Like pills, sex toys. They'll sell all these different things. And what that lets me know is they're not a manufacturer. They're a middleman. Okay? Because most factories are not set up to fabricate all those different types of things. Like think of a factory, right? If you're going to have a factory, I would probably have a theme to my factory. Like if I manufacture clothing, I would just probably manufacture different types of clothes. So I might do kids' clothes and women's clothes and men's clothes. That might make sense. Or if I manufacture shoes, I can do different types of shoes, because shoes are my specialty. But to see a vendor that has like all these non-matching products, a lot of times they aren't an actual manufacturer. And a lot of times they don't have that that verified status, because they are actually a middleman. So they go and source the product from manufacturers in China, and then they bring it to you. And a lot of times you will see that it takes them, like, let's say you want something to be done custom, their lead times are normally higher than the actual manufacturer lead times, right? Because that means they got to go to somebody else to find whatever you're asking them to make custom, and then get it done, and then package it up, and then ship it to you and do all of that stuff, right? So I like them because look at it. Everything that's in their like repertoire, right, is based around beauty, around cosmetics, right? Lashes, blush, these things go together. Like this stuff makes sense for them to do together because they're a cosmetics manufacturer. And so that makes me feel comfortable that they're a legitimate manufacturer, and that when I request to have something custom made, they'll be the ones actually fulfilling that order and fabricating the products that I'm requesting. And they're not going through a third party. So you're going to get the best, you're going to get the best quality, right? Some of the other things, you can get into this later, but when you go in and you look at like company capability, they break down like what their abilities are, like how much they're capable of producing in the future. So let's say your brand blows up and you are like the crayon case or something, and you need like 1,000,000 pallets or something like that. When you go in here and you look at the company capability, that's what it's going to break down. It's going to break down like how much they're able to produce for you in a month, right? So it tells you what their capacity is, right? And then there's other stuff in here like the number of employees they have and all that kind of stuff. Then you can also look at their contact information. Okay, some companies, if you come to their contact information, will have like a separate website. I wouldn't mess with their website separately until you've done business with them and you trust them as a seller. But for me, it's like if you've been doing business with them on Alibaba and everything's been good, then why move over to their personal website? You just have more assurance here on Alibaba than you would on their own site. So then you can come in and you can look at the categories, look at the products, and see what they have to offer. And you can just go in here and select the products that you like and all of that. So that's kind of like the process that I go through. These are my checks and balances I when I am looking for a company. And then again here, they have it set here. Like if you, let's say you needed to fulfill an order like ASAP and you don't want to wait for any fabrication, then you click on the ready to ship tab, because this is the stuff they have in stock like right now. Okay, you don't have to wait for it. It's in stock. Okay, and then if you look at the customization tab, then they're showing you what you can have customized, what products are available for customization. It looks like they have quite a bit. So yeah, that is pretty much how you go through Alibaba and find your own vendors. And like I said, this is a tedious process. It's a tedious process because everything I just walked you through, I walk through every single time I look for a new vendor. And then when I look for my vendor, I reach out to people that I know in different industries and fields, and from that point, then I contact the vendors and I, have conversations with them, and I order samples myself, and just to see like, hey, is this legit? Will they ship? What's the quality? What's the packaging like? So before I put stuff on vendors list and stuff like that, I go through the process of at least contacting the supplier, making sure they're legitimate. Like I said, I normally mess with the ones that are verified suppliers, just because I then know that they are legitimately a manufacturer. They are who they say they are. They're not fronting. So, anywho, that's everything. Those are all the tips. So, if you were ever confused or overwhelmed with Alibaba and finding your own suppliers, I hope this process helps you. But again, the communication is key. Communicate, communicate, communicate. If you choose to communicate with any of these people off the platform, just understand that it almost kind of, it's going to go against you if you need to file a claim in the future. So don't let these people like pressure you into communicating with them off of the platform. Okay, stay on Alibaba, communicate on Alibaba, be clear about what your expectations are, what you're looking for before you place your order. Confirm, 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 and you should be good to go. So if you found this video helpful, I know it was longer, but I definitely wanted to go into detail about it. So if you found this video helpful, please give me a big old thumbs up. Please subscribe. I definitely am going to drop more videos like this to help you in your entrepreneurial journey. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.